Hello, my nerdlings. If you're new here, my name is Nikki. Welcome to my channel where we get nerdy. So, because I have an impulse control problem, I have another book haul. And I have to say, it is pretty diverse for a book haul for me because there's some types of books on here that I don't normally get. There's obviously some types, some genres that I tend to stay away from. And I've got some books from those genres. And there's really no other way to introduce this. So I'm just going to start off at the top. And the first book we have is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I know absolutely nothing about this. I know it is like huge on TikTok and BookTube. I actually found this at a secondhand bookstore, so I didn't have to pay full price for a hardcover. It says in the inside cover, I don't want to read the full synopsis. This reimagining of classic Gothic suspense novel, a story about an isolated mansion in the 1950s Mexico and the brave socialite drawn to its treacherous secrets. So, I know I have another book of hers that I've never read, but I couldn't just ignore all the good things I've heard about it. So, there's book number 1, and it is actually, when I shelf it at work, it's in horror, so that's a big shocker, because I normally never buy horror. Next, we will do a literary, when I'm at work, it's in mythology. It's shelved under mythology, and that is Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. I know nothing about this book at all. In Norse mythology, Gaiman stays true to the myths in envisioning the major Norse pantheon. So apparently this is kind of like a retelling of Norse mythology, but it's like actual or factual. I don't know. I love the cover though. Like, Mjolnir looks beautiful. So, literary mythology. It's under fiction. Like, it's in the fiction section. But at the end of the fiction section, we have a mythology. So, I don't get it. Here are the next 3 books are books I definitely would not have picked up if it wasn't the recommendation of 2 of my coworkers, Donna and Diane. First is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, but it's annotated. So the neat thing with this book is, as you're reading, there's like little numbers, and then on this side of the page, it tells you what those numbers mean. This has always been a big reason why I don't pick up classics, is because they confuse me. I don't understand the context of some things, and I heard Donna talking about it, and she's like, get the annotated version. And then one day I was talking to Diane about it, and she's like, actually, here, we just got the annotated version. So she handed this to me. So we have Pride and Prejudice as one recommendation from them. And then we have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Another one I have never read. I've never watched any of it. Not even as a little kid. So I know nothing about what this or Pride and Prejudice is about. But I'm curious what the hype is all about, and I bought a Pride and Prejudice retelling, and I'm like, I probably should read Pride and Prejudice before I read the retelling. You know what I mean? It's one of those. The stack's falling over. And then the next classic I have is Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. I'm a huge Phantom fan. I absolutely love the musical. Or, well, technically it's an opera. But you know what I mean? I love it. I have always loved this. So I figured I probably should read the book since I know I absolutely love the stage production of it. So those were my classics. Like, those are the ones that should be shockers. The next two I have are both middle grade, and they both are advanced reader copies that we got sent to work. The first one, Megan handed to me because she said it sounded like something one of my boys would like, which Nikolai might like it. And that is Lines of Courage by Jennifer Nielsen. This is World War II era historical fiction. Set to come out March 1st, 2022. That shows you how long I've had this arc. Still haven't read it. But I'm intrigued, for sure. And then once I read it, if I think Nikolai will like it, I will give it to him. And then the other art was one that I grabbed myself because I liked the cover, because we all know Nicole loves her cover buys. And it is Skandar and the Unicorn Thief by A.F. Stedman? I don't know. I don't know anything of what this is about. I just like the cover. That's all. I just liked the unicorn. But it's a unicorn with wings. So is it a unicorn, or is it a Pegasus, or is it something else? I've always wondered that. So, we'll see. Let's move on to romance, I guess. First one in romance is Isn't It Bromantic by Lysa K. Adams. This is book 4, the last book installment of for the Bromance Book Club. This is following The Russian. Can't tell you what it's about specifically without spoiling other books. Just know about a group of men read Harlequin romance books in order to help improve their relationships. So there's this one. And then the next two I have are, I believe, they're contemporary romance. One is book 1 and one is book 2, but I don't remember which one is which. And I think this is the first one. Okay. So Heart and Soul by Jen Frederick. A Korean adoptee, Hara Wilson, doesn't need anyone to tell her that she looks different from her white parents. She knows. Every time Hara looks in the mirror, she's reminded that she doesn't look like anyone else in her family. Not her loving mother, Ellen, not her jerk of a father, Pat, and certainly not Pat's new wife and real son. Real. It was in quotes. So, apparently she goes running off to Seoul in the search of her roots, and what she finds there is the makings of a classic K-drama. A tall, mysterious stranger who greets her at an airport, spontaneous adventure across the city, and a mess of familial ties, along with a red string of destiny that winds its way around her heart and soul. So, there's that one. And then book 2 is Soulmates. I can't tell you what this is about, obviously, without spoiling this one. So, at some point, I'm going to read these. I don't know when. Just, I thought they were cute. And couldn't help but pick them up. Adult fantasy will do next. This book was one of my anticipated releases of the year. I hardly know anything about it. I heard someone talk about it briefly on BookTube, and it piqued my interest. Hold on a second. Sorry. It's school vacation week, and Nikolai's trying to plan a sleepover. He says hi, by the way. So I don't know much about this book. For every realm there is a god. For every god there is an heir. For every heir there is a price. This is City of Dusk by Tara Sim. And I don't know how well you will be able to see this, but something about this cover is haunting, in my opinion. This is the first book in a new series. The first book in the Dark Gods trilogy. And I think she is this is a debut for her as well. If I remember correctly. Not quite sure. But I have a terrible memory because pregnancy brain. I don't know if you actually know this, but like that's a thing where your brain cells just like give up. I swear. So that's the first adult fantasy book. The next I have The Bone Orchard by Sarah Mueller. Yet again, this is like a hauntingly pretty cover. This is another one that was on my anticipated list this year when I was watching BookTube to see everybody's anticipated lists and like what sounded good, and so I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. The great part of that is the last name Mueller. I went to school with a girl that her last name was Mueller, and I could never pronounce it when we were younger. I called her Mueller. So I saw the name, and like that's part of the reason of why I had to buy it. The other reason is because it actually sounds pretty good. Charm is a traitor, a witch, a whore, a prisoner, a survivor, and now she must also solve the Emperor's murder. It sounds really good. If you wonder what these pink tabs are, that's how I denote which books I need to do a haul video for. Because I just stick them on my shelves, hence why there's gaps. I stick them on my shelves and then like, oh, I haven't done that in a haul yet. So that's how I denote what needs to be hauled. So there's that. I don't know why. Something about this sounds so good. What does it look like naked? So we got pretty blue and black and then pink. Is that pink? Yeah, I would say that's like a rose. So I like it. Now we are on to YA, which this is why I bought Pride and Prejudice. Prejudice is Pride and Premeditation by Tirzah Price. Pride and Prejudice gets a murder mystery makeover in this new series based on Jane Austen's most beloved books. Book 2 just was released, and that's Sense and Second Degree Murder. So it's Sense and Sensibility. I just like this cover. Like it looks like it's embroidered, and it's just really pretty, and I like it. It's colorful, and I love a murder mystery. I love watching Bailey Sarian and NCIS Bones and all those kind of shows. So why not try murder mystery books? Next is a YA contemporary that I normally don't read. It's usually YA fantasy. And that is Frankly in Love by David Yoon. Apparently this is one of those fake dating trope things because parents want their son to be with a Korean American girl. His girlfriend is not Korean American, so he fake dates a Korean American girl to make his parents happy while really dating his girlfriend type of situation. So, I have not read anything by David Yoon. It's kind of funny. The end of the book has two of the, 2 biographies of him. It's kind of funny. So, that's that. I'm just in a mood for romance lately. Maybe it's because my 10-year wedding anniversary is coming up. Let's do another romance. The Perfect Escape by Suzanne Park. One guy, one girl, one weekend-long survivalist competition. What could go wrong? I have not read the back of this. I read just that little blurb. I was intrigued. And so I bought it. I have really bad impulse control right now, apparently. So why not? Another YA contemporary. And then one more YA contemporary before we get into YA fiction, fantasy. And that is I'll Be the One by Lila Lee. In the world of K-pop has never met a star like this. And if this girl goes on a competition show to become the next K-pop star, and does not count, in fact, the fat-phobic beauty standards of the Korean entertainment industry. So, I don't know why I picked this up, because it's not even a romance. But I also love K-pop, like that's no lie. You know, we have light sticks here, and then way up at the top, you can't really see it. Well, maybe if I tilt the tripod, that's all my K-pop albums up at the top. So, obviously I love K-pop. I love K-dramas. I love Korean variety shows. So, I have to try it. The next 3 books are all fantasy. And they are all by they're all by females, and I want to say they're all from somebody of Asian descent. The first one being The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. Yet again, let me show you how beautiful this artwork is. So the inside, we have these pretty red pages, blue cover with a gold spine. This I don't know anything about. I follow Axie on Instagram along with several other authors, and I watched a panel with a bunch of authors, and Axie was on it. So was an Elizabeth Lim, Tracy Chi, Van Huang, and Kylie Lee Baker. And they were all talking about their books and how they were inspired by their heritage and the mythology and all that. And if I didn't have their book, I went out and bought it. Except one of them. Because my store didn't have it. And then I actually won a giveaway for that book. So, I'm going to have them all. It's like Pokemon. I got to catch them all. So, deadly storms have ravaged Mina's homeland for generations. Her people believe the sea god, once their protector, now curses them. Each year, a beautiful maiden is sacrificed to the sea in the hopes of appeasing him. Many believe that Shim Chong, the most beautiful girl in the village, and the most beloved of Mina's older brother, June, may be the one to end the suffering. But on the night Chong is sacrificed, June follows her out to the sea, knowing that to interfere is a death sentence. To save her brother, Mina throws herself in the water in Chong's stead. And I'm going to stop there, because I don't want to read any further and get spoiled with any of this, but sounds good. Sounds really good. Kind of reminds me of The Bride of the Water God. But can't wait. My husband's about to get home from work. So, I might have to pause in a moment when he walks inside. Next, I have An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X.R. Pan. I loved this cover, and the only reason I bought it is because my assistant store manager's daughter, she talked me into it, and she doesn't even work there. It's Romeo and Juliet meets Chinese mythology. I have a really bad luck with Romeo and Juliet retellings, but I'm hoping this one will change it. So, I don't want to read the blurb, though. Like, I don't want to read anything about it. I want to go into it blind, so I don't have any expectations. Because I've noticed lately that the books I'm not enjoying are the ones that I read the synopsis, and it's because my expectations are just way too high. And then, last book I have is A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy Lynn. And then another one that's just a beautiful cover. And gorgeous end pages. And then we got pink and purple. So this book, another one I know nothing about because I don't want to know anything about it. I just know that the blurb on the back from Joan He says, sure to enchant both fantasy lovers and sea drama aficionados. I'll be inhaling whatever Judy Lynn brews up next. I know there's something about a tea competition and whatnot. That's all I got. Jiren J. Zhao, author of Iron Widow, which I have somewhere back here. A breathtaking tale with a stunning magic system rooted deep in Chinese mythology and tea-making traditions. Love and magic overflow past the brim in this work of beauty. I don't need to read the synopsis now. Like, I'm already hooked. Sold. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That is the 19 books that I have either bought for myself, or their arcs, or somebody has bought for me. So, that's it for now. So until next time, remember, you are loved and you are valid.